John chapter 4. When therefore the Lord knew that the Pharisees heard that Jesus makes and immerses more disciples than John, though indeed Jesus himself was not immersing, but his disciples, he left Judea and went away to Galilee, and it was necessary for him to go through Samaria. He comes therefore to a city of Samaria, called Sychar, near to the place that Jacob gave to his son Joseph. And there was a well of Jacob. Jesus therefore, having been weary from the journeying, was thus sitting on the well. It was, as it were, the 6th hour. There comes a woman out of Samaria to draw water. Jesus says to her, "Give me to drink." For his disciples were gone away into the city, that they may buy food. And the Samaritan woman therefore says to him, "How do you, being a Jew, ask a drink from me, being a Samaritan woman?" For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans. Jesus answered and said to her, "If you had known the gift of God, and who it is who is saying to you, 'Give me to drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The woman says to him, "Lord, you do not even have a vessel to draw with, and the well is deep. From where then have you the living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well, and himself drank out of it, and his sons and his livestock?" Jesus answered and said to her, "Everyone who is drinking of this water will thirst again. But whoever may drink of the water that I will give him may not thirst throughout the age. And the water that I will give him will become in him a well of water, springing up to continuous life." The woman says to him, "Lord, give me this water, that I may not thirst, nor come here to draw." And Jesus says to her, "Go, call your husband, and come here." The woman answered and said, "I do not have a husband." Jesus says to her, "Well did you say, 'I do not have a husband,' for you have had 5 husbands, and now he whom you have is not your husband. You have said this correctly." The woman says to him, "Lord, I perceive that you are a prophet. Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and you say that in Jerusalem is the place where it is required to worship." Jesus says to her, "Woman, believe me, that there comes an hour when neither in this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You worship what you have not known. We worship what we have known, because salvation is of the Jews. But there comes an hour, and it now is, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father also seeks such to worship him. God is spirit, and those worshiping him should worship in spirit and truth." The woman says to him, "I have known that Messiah comes, who is called Christ. When that one may come, he will tell us all things." Jesus says to her, "I who am speaking to you am he." And on this came his disciples, and were wondering that he was speaking with a woman. No one, however, said, "What do you seek?" or "Why do you speak with her?" The woman then left her water-jug and went away into the city, and says to the men, "Come, see a man who told me all things. As many as I did. Is this the Christ?" They went forth therefore out of the city, and were coming to him. And in the meanwhile his disciples were asking him, saying, "Rabbi, eat." And he said to them, "I have food to eat that you have not known." The disciples then said to one another, "Did anyone bring him anything to eat?" And Jesus says to them, "My food is that I may do the will of him who sent me, and may finish his work. Do not say that it is yet 4 months and the harvest comes. Behold, I say to you, lift up your eyes and see the fields, that they are white to harvest already. And he who is reaping receives a reward, and gathers fruit to continuous life, that both he who is sowing and he who is reaping may rejoice together. For in this the saying is the true one, that one is the sower and another the reaper. I sent you to reap on that which you have not labored. Others labored, and you have entered into their labor. And many from that city believed in him, of the Samaritans, because of the word of the woman testifying, he told me all things, as many as I did. When then the Samaritans came to him, they were asking him to remain with them. And he remained there 2 days. And many more believed because of his word, and said to the woman, We no longer believe because of your speaking, for we ourselves have heard and known that this is truly the Savior of the world, the Christ. And after 2 days he went forth from there, and went away to Galilee. For Jesus himself testified that a prophet will not have honor in his own country. When then he came to Galilee, the Galileans received him, having seen all things that he did in Jerusalem in the celebration, for they also went to the celebration. Jesus came therefore again to Cana of Galilee, where he made the water wine. And there was a certain attendant whose son was ailing in Capernaum. He, having heard that Jesus comes out of Judea to Galilee, went away with him, and was asking him that he may come down and may heal his son, for he was about to die. Jesus then said to him, If you may not see signs and wonders, you will not believe. The attendant says to him, Lord, come down, before my child dies. Jesus says to him, Be going on, your son lives. And the man believed the word that Jesus said to him, and was going on. And he, now going down, his servants met him and told, saying, Your child lives. He inquired then of them the hour in which he became better. And they said to him, Yesterday, at the 7th hour, the fever left him. Then the father knew that it was in that hour in which Jesus said to him, Your son lives. And he himself believed, and his whole house. This again was a second sign Jesus did, having come out of Judea to Galilee.